Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Social Media Decoded podcast, the number one podcast to help you understand social media better so that you grow your business, get more clients, and monetize. And today, I'm excited because we have a special guest. I know I always say that because the guests that we bring on the Social Media Decoded podcast always drop gems. And today we are talking to Shanice, and I am so excited to have you here. Welcome to the Social Media Decoded podcast.
Yes, thank you so much, Michelle, for having me. I am so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited today to talk all things project management because you need to make space for project management in your business. And of course, it all ties into social and digital, and we're going to make sure that ties in, but you need to make sure your project management is in order. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you and your business.
Of course. So, I've really started this business because of a passion where I actually saw my dad and I lived through that pain of really watching him build this thriving business up to getting gross seven figures a year. And as his health declined, because he was the one who was only in charge and he was the one that did everything, and just that business was no longer there to support him when he couldn't show up. And so it was over that time that I realized that you can build a really great business. You can be a great CEO. You can be a wonderful leader, and you can run and make a lot of money, have an amazing business. And that's just still not enough. So having that insight made me worry about my business and made me worried about other people's business owners like you. And I just like I was worried for my dad. And now that's really my mission to show people like you, your listeners, that you don't have to feel or be trapped in your business as long as you do less.
I love that. Less is more. We don't need to do everything. There's tools and systems that we can use. I'm sure we're going to get into talking about that. Less is more. I love that you said that because we all want to create businesses that we love, right? I'm sure everyone listening wants to create a business they love. Maybe they want to go into a marketing profession, whatever it is, but you also still need to make time for yourself. And that leads us to what I want to talk about next, mental mental health and the mental space, right, for entrepreneurs and business owners. In today's world, everything is online. We're like checking our emails. We have Slack. We have all these things, ClickUp, Asana, whatever you use, Monday.com, Notion. I mean, there's like 55,000 things, right?
So
But
many.
how can creators, because I know that this is something that I struggled with in the beginning of my business, but even though I had skills in corporate America from project management, how can we use project management systems and processes for like creative thinking, but also to keep our brands on track?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So my answer is always going to sound really crazy, but the systems are really supposed to be there to help you do less, especially as a creative. And sometimes in business, we can get to the point of we don't really know what's going on, or sometimes we feel trapped, or we don't know how to scale or to grow. And sometimes just that scaling and growing, that's where Thames Media Solution comes in to help you getting more leads. Sometimes as business owners, we are just busy working for the business, and those systems are the way out. So these systems really help free up the time for creatives thinking, giving you that time to think, and they help you do less administrative tasks, which many creatives are bogged down with and tend to lose the most time doing. Now, some of these creative tasks can include doing things like proposals, so specifically custom proposals. Now, I know I went to a person who was going to do some web design rehaul for my business, and I asked, we got on the call, the discovery call. We went through it, and she said, okay, I'm going to send you this proposal. I'm waiting for it, waiting for it. It's never sent. And she just lost out on so much money by forgetting to send that proposal. But since she was doing them custom, instead of maybe having something more templated or having that automation, that system in place to really alert her that that was about to slip through the cracks, now she was losing out on 6 grand.
Yeah, 6 grand.
Yes.
Everyone listening, make sure you have systems. You don't want to lose out on 6 grand.
Yes.
I am 100% right there with you. I think some really great tools for anyone listening. If you want a CRM system where you can keep track, I use Dubsado. I'm definitely going to put that down below and the link so you can check out Dubsado. But I know there's Honeybook and other things like that that can help you, like alert you, like, hey, you've had a meeting with this client. Now it's time to send follow up. And then you can even use, I don't know what project management system you like. I love ClickUp, and it can send me a ClickUp notification that, hey, I need to respond to Miss Betty about that proposal. Even if you write it down in your notebook, because before this call, you all, before I jumped on with Shanice today, I just got off a discovery call and I wrote down that I need to send this client a proposal. But I also am going to put it in ClickUp to remind me that today can't finish until I send this proposal because it is important and I don't want to miss out on $6,000. Okay. So systems, but what project management tool is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
So I do have a favorite. I will put the disclaimer first is that the favorite that I have for people is always what they're going to use, because I'm not going to give you something that you don't use. I want to make sure that we are implementing and we are using the systems you already have and just improving on them. My favorite personally is ClickUp because they have a lot of features. So I see a lot of people using Slack, but ClickUp can do those same features that they were doing in Slack. Same thing. It's just a lot of things ClickUp or Asana even can do, and that we can integrate them with what you're already using. But it's really about using those systems that we put together for you, because that's really what's going to make the big improvement. And what I do see so much, I had a client that I worked with, and he tried to do it himself, but just not knowing, not necessarily thinking that, okay, how can I do this in the best way possible? Not really mapping out the system and the process like we do when we are putting together a system and knowing exactly what works. He was still doing a ton of things manually that could have been automated, like how you said that notifications can be made. A lot of times people don't know about that feature. They don't know how to put that feature in place, and you're spending a lot of time. So that's another task creatives I see spending a lot of time on, is they're trying to learn these new softwares and trying to put them together themselves instead of just investing in hiring out so someone can give them the best strategy to use to really connect everything together.
Hire Shanice. I'm telling you right now, because if you do anything, ClickUp and help them with all of that. I hired a company to do that for me, and oh my God, if I wouldn't have, I probably wouldn't know how to use ClickUp. So I think that's really good. I did hear you talk about Slack before we go to the next question, because I really love Slack. But now I found out ClickUp can also do voice notes. I use Slack per se more for communication with my team, just over email. But I do also like Slack because it can be integrated with Zapier, which I'm sure you tell your clients about, because it's an amazing automation tool that can do, I mean, probably anything. But I like that I can create an automation in Zapier, like if someone fills out a form or something, it can
Yes.
just come up in our channel, or you can create those things. But I'm a Slack and a ClickUp girl. I don't think I can let go of both, because I really have like 7 Slack channels with all my clients, with my team, with projects we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can integrate the two, but what do you think? Is Slack more for communication, or can we use ClickUp or Slack, one or the other? What are your thoughts?
So, and I like how you feel comfortable with Slack. So I definitely would not be the one to tell you, like, go and change what you're doing and to do something else. If you feel comfortable, if that's where you are, let's continue with that. ClickUp can do the same thing because it can have the communication channels in there. You can communicate in tasks. But the difference between Slack and ClickUp is that Slack is more of a communication channel. ClickUp is a project management tool. So it's actually there to help you streamline that client delivery process, where you're actually providing the services so that you don't miss steps, or if you want to hand off that process to someone else, because we want to do less, we want to free up our own time. So you have to hand off, you have to delegate, you have to do certain things in order to scale and get to the next level. And that's what ClickUp helps you to do, which is way different than what Slack does, which is just that communication channel.
Ooh, that was a really great explanation, and I love that. And yes, even if you're listening and you're an influencer, you're a UGC content creator, you still need a project management tool to help you with all those projects and things that you're doing. And you may have an assistant that needs to help you. So everyone needs project management. So I'm just putting that out there, and I'm so glad we're talking about this. So I want to talk about some tips and tricks that you could share for entrepreneurs wanting to become a project manager or operations manager. I know that it is a very lucrative business and we all want to create businesses doing what we love. And I think that that's a really great way if you have those skills. So, what are some of your tips for anyone who wants to go into that area?
Yeah, so as a project manager, you are really doing a lot of delegation. So you really have to learn how to trust in others, trust in your team, really to relinquish that control. And it really helps to have worked in an agency or a business for a few months just to get some insight. But for some of the people wanting to jump right in, I suggest to find just one software and find one niche to be your specialty and learn a lot about that. You can start off by doing some cold outreach to some people in that niche that you think would be a good candidate for your offer and ask them some questions like, who are your biggest influencers and models that you follow? What are their top three daily frustrations? What do they most desire? What softwares do they use? And then you can create your offer and what you want to sell around those answers. Or these questions will help you to hire someone like Michelle to take over all of that marketing for you because she needs to know that in order to give you the best paying customers that are going to really convert for you.
I love that. Everybody needs project management. I love that. There's so many gems always dropped here on the Social Media Decoded podcast. So thank you so much for that. If you love this episode, make sure you tag me on Instagram at Michelle L. Thames and let me know what gems from this episode that you really loved about project management that you never thought before. Because I'm telling you, project management and these tools will change your life. If you want to be a digital nomad like me, a part-time digital nomad, you need these systems to do that, to travel and to be able to work from anywhere is not going to be possible if you don't have the systems, because you can be in Mexico, you're going to forget that your client, hey, you have to do something. So staying on track with all of that is just, I love it. I love it. So I love books here, and we always like to ask our guests about books and resources that have helped you as an entrepreneur. Do you have any books that have helped to shape the entrepreneur you are today and that you would like to share with the listeners that may help them too?
Of course, I love books too. I am an avid book reader. It is crazy how many books I go through, but the one that really stands out the most to me is called The Defining Decade by Meg Jay. And now that book is geared towards people that are more in their 20s, and I read it when I was in my 20s. And it's, but for everyone, it's really talking about how you should really be intentional about your life because your 20s are the building blocks and the foundations for your 30s. Your 30s are the building blocks and foundations for your 40s, and so on and so forth. So just being intentional, having goals, having ideas where you want to go, trying things and being able to pivot. That's what was so powerful about that book. And now for my systems people and my project managers, my favorite book for that is Traction by Gino Wickman. So that is definitely a systems and business operations book.
And I'm over here, I know you guys can't see, but I'm over here saying yes, yes, yes to Traction because that is a really great book. Please read it. I think that that is definitely a great book for anyone who is project management, even anyone who is a CMO or in a position where you are, making decisions and having to project manage teams. And it's just a really good book. So thank you for those recommendations.
Thank
Such
you.
great recommendations. There should be a bookstore by now with all the books that we've had from all the past guests. So I hope that you all are out there happily reading these amazing books. This has been such a really great episode. I'm so excited that we got to chat about project management and how it can really help creative entrepreneurs. So I want to thank you for providing all that great information. But before we head out, would love to know, where can we find you online? And if you have any special things that our listeners can take advantage of, please let us know about that as well.
Definitely. So I've created a special page just for your listeners. They can go to tasklegroup.com/Michelle, where they can get my free training on how to get to 6 and 7 figures while doing less. You can also book a call to chat with me about your personal business systems, connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, tasklegroup_. But all of these things are found at tasklegroup.com/Michelle.
Yes, and we will put all that information in the show notes, so make sure you check that out. And thank you so much for providing the listeners with a special gift. Please make sure you take advantage of this special gift. I know it's going to be so, so awesome. Thank you again, Shanice, so much for coming on today's episode and just providing such amazing gems.
Thank you, Michelle. I love being here.